Hi guys, it's been about a week since I had surgery and I am now on my way to the doctor to get my drain removed. Yay! So the drain is placed into my body just to the side of my incision. There's like another little incision with a tube coming out and a little ball at the end. Looks like this. And stuff just kind of drains into it all day long. The last few days there has not been very much draining from it, so that means it's ready to come out. I'm a little nervous that it might be painful getting it out. It's kind of like stitched in, but I'm also eager to get it out because I'm pretty sure a lot of my pain, I don't know, a significant percentage of my pain is coming from the drain and not so much from my actual like incisions and stitches. So I'm looking forward to getting that out. I do remember when I had much bigger drain tubes after my transplant, and I had like 6 of them, that getting them out really helped relieve a lot of pain. So I'm hopeful that this will also relieve pain. I've been mentioning pain. I have been in pain for the last week. Things have not been so comfortable. Not like obviously the worst thing that I've been through, but still not fun. I've been kind of out of sorts and, not really myself. Catherine and I have been joking that I'm kind of like walking around like a muscle man with like holding my arms out to my sides because I don't want them touching my sides. The incisions actually ended up being bigger than I expected. The abscesses themselves weren't that big, so I just thought they would just open the abscess, but they actually opened up about half of my incisions. There's different ways you can get a transplant incision. There's what's called a clamshell, which goes across the chest, and then there's, I think it's called like a sternum cut, where they cut vertically. So I have a clamshell, but mine is kind of like a modified clamshell because instead of one big incision, it's actually 2 incisions, and there's a space in the center where they didn't cut at all, which I'm grateful for. Less cutting is good. But so in order to clean out these abscesses, they ended up opening up about half of each transplant incision, which is significant. I would say I have somewhere around 7 stitches on each side. So that's not terribly comfortable. Those still have to stay in for a couple more weeks. They said that they want those to stay in for 3 weeks. But thankfully, the drain is on its way out today. All right, so that's done. It was quick, at least. They just had me like, well, first they took the stitches off from the tube that was like stitched into me. So they like cut the stitches and then told me to take a deep breath in. And then as I exhaled, they yanked it out. So it was fast. It did hurt. Not really so comfortable coming out. I kind of expected that. Not like the worst pain that I've been through, but still not comfortable and still sore afterwards also. They put a big gauze pad onto it and said it might drain, for like a day or 2, and to just, change the gauze pad as needed, and that's about it. And that obviously like keep an eye on it, and if it gets swollen or if there are any problems, to let them know. They said that apparently, fun fact, the body can reabsorb up to 30 milliliters of fluid per day. So as long as I'm producing less than that, it won't be a problem. My body can reabsorb it. And for the last few days, I was producing less than 15 or 10 milliliters. So I'm not anticipating having any problems. Here's hoping that that is actually what happens and I don't do one of my typical weird dramatic things, but hopefully this one will be smooth sailing. So I'm not so comfortable. It's, a little ouchy. And of course I'm not comfortable anyway because I still have stitches and those are going to be in for probably 2 more weeks. So those aren't fun either. But hopefully once the drain heals up, the area where the drain was, that should hopefully take away, some of my pain because, I don't know, it just kept like kind of getting caught and tugged on and just generally being uncomfortable. So I am very glad to have that out, and it's one step closer to being fully recovered. It's been 3 weeks since my surgery, and it is finally time to get my stitches out. I am on my way into Philly right now. I'm really excited to get my stitches out because they have not been comfortable. They're obviously much better than they were right after surgery, but still, they're just not fun, and I really want them out. I'm also a little anxious about getting them out because I'm kind of expecting that it's gonna hurt because they've had 3 weeks to like grow into my body. I think I remember after transplant when I got my stitches out that like some of them just came right out and some of them were kind of stuck and, you know, hurt a little bit coming out. It's not going to be awful, but like, you know, I can think of more enjoyable things to do with my life. But hopefully after they're out, then things can really heal up and be much more comfortable than they are now. I'm actually having a good week for having random items removed from my body because I also got my PICC line out. Finally, I had it in for 2.5 months. That is the longest that I've had a PICC line in. The only other time that I was on IVs for, no, actually, that is the longest because even before transplant, it was only 6 weeks. So this is officially the longest that I've had a PICC line. I wasn't on antibiotics the whole time, but I did have the IV the whole time. So that was a big relief to get that out. And now the stitch is out and everything is coming up Eliana. Well, that wasn't fun. It was quick though, at least. I will give it that. And again, it's not like anywhere near the worst thing that I've been through. It just wasn't fun. The area around the sutures was already like a little sore and a little irritated. The PA said that's because they were definitely ready to come out and my body was kind of like healing around them. And, you know, since my body had kind of healed around them, that pulling them out, you know, was not fun. So they were already kind of irritated. Now they're even more red and irritated and a little bit bloody. So that's, you know, not so fun. But now my body can finally like fully finish healing. She did say that the incisions are fully closed. I have no restrictions on activities because they're totally fine. So now that the sutures are out, those little suture holes can heal up. I have some bruising around the surgical areas that showed up on my CAT scan, but that can hopefully finish healing up, and hopefully soon I will no longer be in pain because it's been a while that I've been in varying degrees of pain and I would like it to stop. Something else that was interesting is that the samples that they took during surgery actually did not have Pseudomonas in them. So that my doctor says that's probably because I did get a couple doses of the antibiotic before I had surgery, and that's a really good sign that hopefully the antibiotic will fully get rid of, you know, any infection that I had left, and hopefully that'll be the end of this and I won't have to deal with it anymore. So now that my PICC line is out and my stitches are out and my IV antibiotic is done, hopefully that is the end of this little abscess extravaganza that I've been dealing with. Hopefully that is the end of this round of medical shenanigans, and hopefully I can get a little bit of a break in my medical life for a little while. That would be nice because this was really a long haul. So I definitely think I deserve a break. And the other good news that I got when I saw my doctor is that COVID cases in my area are now low enough that he said I can loosen up my restrictions a little bit and I can kind of just go back to the regular post-transplant restrictions, which are still very similar to COVID restrictions. It's kind of like COVID light. Or maybe it's COVID normal for everybody else, but I was on like super COVID restrictions. So no crowds, wear a mask in public, you know, wash my hands a lot, and stay away from anybody who has any signs of any sort of illness because any infection could take me out, not just COVID. But really, I've pretty much been staying in my house and not seeing anybody and not doing anything because the risk of COVID was just so high. So I actually can finally go out and like see a couple friends occasionally and, you know, be part of the world again. So, and now spring is coming, so the weather is getting nicer and there's more outdoor opportunities and just opportunities in general. So hopefully I am finishing up this round of medical nonsense and moving on to bigger and better things in the coming months. So that is the story around here. See you next time.